Today, I want to do a case study on something that happened recently to a potential customer that had put a contract on a piece of property so that we could build a custom home for them on. This is a case study because there was an issue with the lot, and luckily we were able to discover this before our potential customers invested almost $400,000 into this lot. So, this is one of those types of cases where I think you could potentially have the biggest issues, and that is with a teardown situation in an old neighborhood. So, what we had were some customers that called us, found a lot they liked in the Dallas area, and told me it was an older neighborhood. There had been a house on it that had already been torn down, so it was being sold as a vacant lot. As I, always offer to do for people, I said, I'll go out and physically look at it. It's always good to go out to these lots, give it the eyeball test, see what's going on with everything from topography to what's happening in the neighborhood. So, what I'm going to do is throw up my screen here for you to look at, but here's the street view on Google of the lot. Older neighborhood, but there is a newer contemporary house across the street. There was another modern house catty corner. They wanted a fairly contemporary style house, so the lot from that standpoint would have worked just fine. It was shaped interestingly, though. It was a corner lot, and the street it faced was the widest part of the lot. The side street, if you were looking at it on the left, looking at it from the street, the side street was on the left, angled back, actually with a radius. It curved. So the lot got narrower and narrower as you went to the back of it. To the point that as I'm standing out there looking at it, it's really hard to know how it's going to fit. I did not have a survey when I went out to look at the lot. We had asked for it, but hadn't gotten it from the realtor they were talking to yet. So, I called them, said the lot looks good from a topography standpoint, relatively flat, no issues there. I think the neighborhood would work out. There were other newer homes around that were clearly had been teardowns. But I told them I wasn't sure how well the house they wanted to build was going to fit on that lot because just eyeballing it, I couldn't see what the building setbacks were, easements, things of that nature. So I've done other videos on this, and this is where I say you have to get surveys. You have to know what's actually on the property because you may look at something that looks great, but you could have issues building on it due to easements and building setbacks. A building setback is just the building line. It is the minimum you can build a house to a property line. So a front building setback may be 25 feet. That's as close as you can get the house to the front property line. So in this case, after looking at the lot, I ended up getting the survey. The survey actually showed the original house on the lot. And on the side street, it was only sitting 4.5 feet off the property line. So at this point, I had contacted my architect. I have partnered with an excellent architect now, so we are a design build firm and can take somebody from all the way from plan design through the whole entire process. He has worked that area quite a bit and is used to dealing with this teardown situation. He said we should figure for at least 7.5 feet on that side build line because Dallas isn't really grandfathering a lot of these old neighborhood building setbacks and things they had going on when those were originally done. They want at least 7.5 feet on this lot. So he did some site planning and laid out, footprints of the house. They wanted about 3,500 square foot living with a 2-car garage. And he was able to say, hey, no problem getting that to fit on this lot, as long as the build lines or building setbacks are in the range we think they are. And he offered something that I didn't know about, and this is the great thing about working with great people, is because he's worked that area, he told me Dallas is one of the few cities that will do basically a Zoom meeting, a virtual meeting with you, with the planning and zoning department to talk about these kind of situations. Because again, I think the lot was listed at nearly 400,000. You don't want, your potential customers to make a big investment and find out there's a problem. So we set up this meeting with Dallas. We had the virtual meeting with me, with the customers, with the architect, and with the city of Dallas. So, as we're looking at this and talking about things with the City of Dallas person, she says, well, I'm showing that's going to have a 25-foot setback on that side street, that side building line. And we said, whoa, that's an issue. That will make this lot nearly unbuildable. Why would that even be? And she said, well, that's what my software is telling her, and I need to go talk to my boss. So she basically put us on hold and went away for 5 or 8 minutes and came back and laid the bad news on us, which was, yeah, it was going to have a 25-foot building line on the side. And again, because this lot gets so narrow as it starts to go to the back, making the side building line 25 feet just killed it. It did not allow us to be able to put the house on there that they wanted to build. I'm not sure what house was going to be able to fit on this lot with a 25-foot side building line. So, of course, we asked the question, what would be involved with changing that, with getting a variance? And she said, well, it would be a whole process with the city, take at least 6 months, and even then there's no guarantee. There's a question about what the sellers knew or didn't know about this, but the long and the short of it is our buyers were within their option period. They had actually put the contract on the lot at this point, but they were within their option period and they backed out, went looking for another lot. So I thought this was a good case study. I know the clients were very appreciative that we, prevented them from investing in this property, only to find out they may not have been, well, I guess best case, they would have had to wait 6 months to determine if they could get that building setback variance done. Worst case, it doesn't get approved by the city and they just can't build on this lot and are stuck with a huge investment that then now you have to try to sell it to somebody else who's willing to build on it. So this was a unique situation. As a matter of fact, we questioned the city, why were they even requiring this? And it was a pretty unique situation where on the side street, the lot behind this house had a house facing the side street. Because that house had to sit 25 feet off the street because that was a front building setback, it triggered the same thing on our lot. Still kind of strange to me, the way that worked out, but nevertheless, it was a major issue and prevented, my potential customers from buying this lot. So this is the kind of thing when you are out looking at property to be very wary of, to do your due diligence on. If you are working with a builder, have them help you out by assessing the lot, looking into these kind of things. If you are in Dallas-Fort Worth and you are looking to build on a lot, tear down a house, you can certainly contact us. I will do a free assessment of the lot like we did here. We didn't charge these people a dime, but we saved them $400,000. So hopefully they'll find another lot and want to build a house. But the reality was they wanted this one, and as it turned out, it had a unique problem with it. So this is the kind of thing when looking at property to be very cognizant of. Always get a survey of the property. If there are any question, get with the city. If it's a city you cannot have a virtual meeting with, then you go down to the city's planning and zoning, you lay out this lot that you're talking about, and you go over it with them. Because what you don't want to have happen is you're looking at it, and from an eyeball perspective, it looks great. It's where you want to be. There are no issues, but you buy it and find out that there are build line or easement issues. Easements are another thing. You can have easements that are cutting across a property that also can make it unbuildable. So these are the kind of things to, check out before you go buy a lot. So I hope this case study helps those out there that are interested in buying property. Just make sure you do all your due diligence before you spend all that money on the lot.